The 2026 World Baseball Classic just crowned a new champion, but let's make a ball for the historic 2023 final. USA vs. Japan, Mike Trout vs. Shohei, in front of a sold-out Miami stadium plastered with the signature World Baseball Classic colors. Unlike a traditional baseball, this ball will feature red and yellow panels and be held together with blue and green thread. Without a fancy leather press or official baseball molds, I found 3D printing and a little bit of creativity to be just as good for punching out each of the 108 stitch holes and outlining where to hand cut each panel. On one end of a panel, we'll stamp in Shohei's final pitch that struck out Mike Trout to give Japan the world title. On the other panel, the final score will be displayed prominently across the center. Since both countries' baseball logos are comprised of multiple colors, they will actually be made from multiple pieces of leather and stitched directly onto the ball. Japan's logo features a wonderful gold edge with a vibrant red center. Similar to the panel molds, we'll use some 3D printing to punch out each of the stitch holes and mark where to hand cut each piece of the logo. Once both parts of the logo are cut out, it's time to grab some red thread and stitch them directly onto the panel. Designing a ball like this is always a little scary. I have an idea in my mind of how I want it to look, but until I actually start making the ball, I can't be sure if it'll actually work and look halfway decent. I was a bit nervous how having a logo stitched onto the ball instead of stamped on would look in reality, but I like how it turned out. The country logo really pops off the ball. And for the USA logo, I'm just gonna be honest, it may be my least favorite. Japan's and most other country logos are simple and clean. The US's is just too busy. Its layers of red, white, and blue components match the flag, but make it a nightmare to design and cut out properly to make sure everything's aligned at the end. I'm pretty sure figuring out how to stamp, cut, and stitch the US logo took me longer than everything else combined on this ball. Japan's logo allows for one continuous red stitch onto the ball, while the US's requires blue and white thread and 6 separate stitches by the end of it all. Don't get me wrong, I will always root for Team USA, but can they please design a better logo? Okay, rant over. Back to the ball. Now that both panels are prepped and ready to go, the last thing to do is to stitch them together to actually make the final ball. To fully integrate the World Baseball Classic logo into the ball, we'll grab some green and blue thread that will be used to hold the ball together. No matter how many balls I've made, stitching it is always a nervous moment for me. Did I measure the ball correctly? Are the panels cut to the right size and not too big or too small? Will there be enough thread at the end to reach the final stitch? Will this ball actually look any good when it's all said and done? As I get further along with the ball, I can get a sense on some of these questions, but none of them can be fully answered until we get to the last curve of the ball. Luckily, this ball seems to be coming out just as planned. As the final few stitches are made, there is just enough leather to close up the ball and just enough thread for the final knot that will keep the stitches firmly in place. The final knot can be tricky as the needle must pass through and exit the ball without snagging another stitch. The excess thread is cut away, and the leftover strands are pushed beneath the panel to give the ball its classic baseball look. And there we have it, the final ball fully stitched together, the iconic moment that gave Japan their third World Baseball Classic title, immortalized on a baseball. I'm already thinking of a ball for Venezuela's 2026 title, but let me know in the comments below what other iconic plays deserve to be turned into a ball.